Good morning, friends. Let's cover exercise 3 of this tutorial series on Java serialization. So let's go through the problem statement first. So we have got a class exercise 3 which implements serializable interface, and it has got only one private field member, which is another object class, which is other class 3. And at the time of creating this, we already create this object using the new operator. So if I go to this other class 3, it's here, and it has not got anything. It's an empty class. So this is what it is created here, which is the only private field member of exercise 3. And now in the main method, we actually create the object of this exercise 3 object as well, having this private field member of other class 3. And then we call this store it method here. So if we go to store it method, which actually takes the object reference of exercise 3 itself. So here we are creating this object output stream object with the file output stream serialized and the normal procedure to write to a file. And then we try to write this object and then close the stream. And once this is all done, it will print stored to the console output. And if there's any exception, it will just consume that exception, but just print exception message. So let's look at this class again. It's a very simple class, which is only like one reference object as other class 3, and which is empty. And then we try to serialize this object to a file. Now, what is the result? Choose all that apply. So if you think that if any exception is thrown here, then it should print exception, right? So output can be exception, or if you think that it's all good, then it should be printing stored. Or option C is that compilation fails. And if everything is good, then it should be storing object. The object should be, the console output should be stored, and either of option D or E should be correct, which is exactly one object is serialized, like exercise 3, because we are having two objects here, right? Exercise 3 itself and the reference field object as other class 3. So exactly one object is serialized, or exactly two objects are serialized. So I'll pause the video here. Just think about it. Okay. I hope that you have tried this problem. So let's look what should be the solution. Let's look at the first point, compilation fails. That's option C. If you look at this whole class, it's a small class. I don't think that we are doing anything which is got syntax error, because we are just creating this reference object as new operator, and then we are simply calling this method here. And all the syntax looks good. So I don't think there should be any compilation failure. Now regarding that, whether any exception is thrown, if any exception is thrown, then it will print this exception. And if it all is good, then the stored would be created, or and then it should be serializing like one or two objects, right? So let's run this example and see. I'm clicking on run. Okay, so the output is exception, which means that it failed to write this object or serialize this object to the file. Now let's look at why this exception would have been thrown, right? So what I will do is that I will do e.print stack trace and then run it again. So once we have put this statement here, then we will know that why this exception is thrown. Let me run it again. Okay, so exception is thrown, as we know. The exception is printed there. But let's see that what's the exact problem. So it's very clearly stated that not serializable exception for other class 3, right? And this is actually thrown here at this point while we are trying to serialize this to the file. Because As we know that when we try to serialize a Java class and whatever the private field members it has, if it's a reference field, then we have to ensure that that reference field is also implementing serializable. So it means that once we put implement serializable in it one other class 3 it implements serializable interface, then this exception should be gone. So that was a problem. Any reference object inside a class, if you're trying to serialize this class object, all the reference field should be serializable. Otherwise, it will throw an error. And if we don't want to take to include this, then we can whitelist it, or we can mark it as transient. So this was all about exercise 3, guys. In the next video, we will see exercise 4. So see you all in the next video.